Hey y'all, today I'm going to go over how to do a lash lift and how to incorporate a tint with the lift. We get tons of calls about this and I wanted to show you the actual step-by-step process and a before and after. We have men that come in for it, we have girls that just want a little bit of a more natural look that do it, and then we also have those girls whose lashes point straight down that need to do a lift before you can actually do the extensions. So it's just a great service to add to your menu, and I'm going to show you the easy way to do it. So first I'm going to show you guys what you need in your room to get started with the lash lift. My number one thing is my phone. You need this to be accurate on your timing. Timing is essential when you're doing a lash lift. You also see my jar of Q-tips. I have my tint supplies because I'm going to show you how to do the perm with and without the tint involved. And check with your state because not every state the lash tint is illegal in some states. I have my protein remover pads, my LAshX Lash Cleanse, my Dolly Lash Lash Lift Kit, which we actually sell on our website, LAshX.pro. There goes my hand sanitizer, which is essential, of course. Our mascara wands, gel pads, 2 pairs if you're going to do a tint, clean cotton swabs, and then I like to have a black towel. And the reason for this is I'm going to tint before my client opens their eyes, I give them the towel with some water so they can actually rub themselves. So there's less chance of anything getting in the eye or stinging them. So that's all you need to get started with the lash lift service. And if you're ready, we'll go to step 1. Step 1, we're going to cover her lower lashes with the gel pad. What this does is it keeps them from getting lifted up, but also just creates a nice little place on the skin. It's also an anti-aging treatment, so she'll get a little bit of a nice, cool treatment. So when I put the lower lashes on, I like to start in the inner corner, just gently covering the lower lashes and pulling it out with a gel pad. Does that feel comfortable? Mm-hmm. The next step is we're gonna pick which shape we want to use. So the lash lift rods, they're called a rod, but it's more of a silicone shape. These come in a small, a medium, and large. And how you want to choose that is based on how much curl you want and how much natural length your client has. Now, Melissa has a lot of natural length, so I'm actually going to go with the large rod. Otherwise, they're going to look like they're going straight up. So in our kit here, you'll see there's small, medium, and large on the rods. Some people do try to clean these and reuse them. I just throw them out. You get actually 15 treatments per kit, so there's really no need. And if you do a tint on them, it's really hard to clean and really hard to sanitize. So I would recommend just throwing them out each service. Okay, so the large shape, and I'll hold it up so you guys can hopefully see, they have a nice natural curve. It's not like a rod, like old school perms where they're gonna kink back. It's actually gonna give you a really natural, nice curve to the lash. So what's gonna happen is these will get glued onto our lid right up to the lash line. If need be, if your client's eyes need it, you can also trim these with scissors. So in this box is our, it's like a spirit gum, it's just a glue and it comes right off with oil. But what we're going to do is we're gonna glue that silicone shape in place so it stays there. And it's also going to hold our lashes in place. So when you apply these, it's great to start towards the inner corner, all the way up to the lash line, working your way out. And you do want to make sure it's pretty secure, because if it's not secure, halfway through your lift, you're going to get some weird results. And I'm just going to make sure her lashes are all free. Perfect. So once the rods are securely in place, the next step is to actually adhere the lashes. And this is a really important step because if you don't take your time and the lashes are crisscrossed or not going the right angle, that's how they're going to stay. Whatever you do at this step for the design is what's going to be locked in. So we're going to put more of this adhesive all over the silicone shape, and I like to do one eye at a time. It just gives me time to work with the lashes and make sure they're perfect. In your kit, there's this cool little brush. So the brush has like a smoothing side and a little comb. I don't know if you guys can see that, it's really detailed. But what I'm going to do is first use the smoothing side to kind of stick up all these little hairs. We want to make sure every hair gets stuck in the right position. And then the other side, the little combing side, helps separate them so that way that when they are lifted, they're going to be spaced out and not a few big clumpy lashes. So as I was saying earlier, this service is really popular right now with kind of everybody. It's a natural look, and you could of course wear mascara with it or fake lashes with it. A lot of men are doing it for, you know, a lift for their eyes. You doing all right? Okay. So we got the silicone shape on there. Everything's stuck in place. And then this kit, what's great about it, it's numbered. So it's really easy. You can't really mess it up. So step 1, or the perm lotion, would be your first step. And I also like that they're individual packets. So A, it doesn't oxidize and go bad, but you also know how much to use. So one packet is enough for both eyes. And I'm just gonna put it right on the backing of my gel pad so I have a little surface that I can throw out after. It's pretty pink. So we're gonna use about half of this on each eye, and we really wanna cover everything. You don't want it obviously to get in the waterline, but we wanna cover from root to tip. Some people will leave out the very tip of the lash if they're fine because they don't want to over-process the finer hair. And when we decide how long we leave this, because it's 12 to 15 minutes per step, it depends on the client's natural lash, how thick it is. So the thicker the lash, the longer you leave it. And if you're not sure, it's always better to be more conservative and take a note and then let your client know that next time you can go a little longer. You just want to make sure. Because if you leave it too long and the hair is really fine, you could over process and then it gets like a kinky look. That's not pretty. So I'm going almost everywhere, just not the very tip of her lash. And I'm putting a pretty fat coat on there. I'm going to do both sides. And Melissa has the medium texture to her hair. It's not super fine, but it's also not super thick. So in that 12 to 15 minute range, I'm going to leave this on for about 13 minutes. Okay, it's time to take it off. The trick with taking it off is using clean Q-tips and rolling away from the eye, so nothing gets near the eye. And I don't use water, I remove it all dry. With this lift, you want to do 24 hours no water. So you guys can probably guess after step 1 is step 2. Step 2 is the blue step, and it's the setting lotion. So basically with any chemical process to the hair, we basically open up the pores of the hair, and now we're going to set it in this locked, lifted position. I can open it. There we go. So again, one package is good for both eyes. I have a new backing of my gel pad to put it on. So step 2 is blue. And however long you left step 1 is exactly how long we will leave step 2. So it's pretty easy. We did 13 minutes, so we're gonna do 13 minutes again once we get it all on. And same process, you wanna cover all of the lashes except for the very tips. It's important to look at the root of the hair because that's what's gonna really hold the curl up. So making sure to get the root is important. If at this time any of the lashes became loose at all, you can go ahead and re-glue them in position. Okay, so that's on there. Everything goes in the trash, and 13 more minutes. Okay, so now guys, it's about time to take off our step number 2. And remember, step number 2 was our setting lotion, the blue step. This is where the variable comes into play. If your client has a lighter lash, this is where we would add in a lash tint. And I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. If, however, your client has nice dark lashes to start with, you're gonna skip this step and go right into the third treatment, which is the nourishing oil. So I'm gonna show you both so you have options with your clients. So we'll remove the setting lotion. So same way we remove the perm lotion, dry Q-tips, kind of twisting up and away from the eye. Okay, so once all of the solution is off, and I have a few little baby hairs that are kind of coming off, so I'm just gonna use a little more of the adhesive and make sure they're stuck down, because we're not ready for those to come off yet. And now we're gonna remove the first set of gel pads. And I like to tint the top and the lower lashes all in one step. So to do that, I'm going to take my second set of gel pads, and these are going to go underneath the lower lashes so we can tint everything at once. Come out of here. Okay. So this time the gel pad's going to, instead of going on top of the lower lash, it's going to scoot underneath. And really the only purpose of it now is to give you a work surface and to make it easier to see those little fine baby lashes. Just be very careful that all of the lower lashes are exposed. You don't want them tucked underneath the gel pad or they won't get the color. So for your tint, again, you have options. Melissa has beautiful blue eyes. I'm actually gonna mix the blue and the black to give her a really pretty jet kind of blue-black. So you use about a piece size of each. And this is, I'm using 2 different brands, but they're pretty much the same thing. Reflectiseal and Intenseal. And they're pretty much the same. I pretty much order wherever is convenient. The activator or the developer, you're gonna do just enough to cover those P's. You don't want it really wet or it could drip in the eye. So you almost wanna make like a shoe polish consistency, a really thick cream. And I'm gonna mix this with my flat eyeliner brush until it becomes one consistent cream. Now, here's where I'll usually consult with my client to see if they want a little bit of an eyeliner look. If they do, you could tap it on the skin where the lash roots are. If they just want clean hair, usually men don't want any eyeliner look, then you are just gonna start a little bit further out so you don't get any on the skin. So, you start with the lower lashes, and you just want to completely cover the hair. There we go. Once you cover the bottom, you can go ahead and cover the top. Just like we did with our solution 1 and our solution 2, we're going to completely cover the hairs right on top of the silicone sheet. This only takes a few minutes. Usually I leave it on like 3 to 5 minutes. So Melissa has beautiful blue eyes, so I decided to tint her with a mix of the black and blue, which is gonna give her a really nice jet black. So I mixed that, and I did, in my little jar, a pea size of each with the developer, which is this product here. And you just really cover the dye with a little bit of developer, which activates it. And then you're gonna mix it till you get a really creamy consistency. Think about a shoe polish. You don't want it to be so wet it's gonna drip in their eye. You want it to kind of stay in place like a paste. And then we're gonna cover everything completely and then leave it on for 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so it's been 3 to 5 minutes. We're gonna remove our gel pads. And remove all the tint. Okay, so I'm removing all of the tint. And everything, guys, I'm doing is without water. We don't want to use any water at this stage of the process. Again, we're going to let her lashes stay without water for 24 hours. So our last step, as I mentioned, is the nourishing oil, and that's step 3. And if we didn't tint, we would jump right to this step. But basically, this oil is like a hot oil treatment for the lashes. It's going to condition the hair and remove any leftover adhesive or product. So I like to just coat all the lashes in it, and more, you'll notice more dye comes off with it. So this is basically in lieu of water. And I let the client go home with this on the lash. That way they get a longer, it's like a mask, like a hair mask for the lashes after the process. So I let them sleep in this, and then they're gonna wait 24 hours before they wet the lash. So I usually use actually 2 of the nourishing oils. I go through them quicker, because I do like to put quite a bit on each eye. And I also want to make sure that all the adhesive is off her skin so she doesn't feel sticky.